Matt, what happened? I thought Macy's was supposed to be terrible. Everyone was iffy on Walmart because Target holiday numbers weren't great. What happened in retail?
It looks like January maybe they bounced back a little bit. Also, Walmart showed a lot of strength in their neighborhood markets and online. So the neighborhood markets are smaller stores, sort of like, think of like a smaller grocery store or a convenience store. And then online, they bought Jet.com last year. It looks like that acquisition is paying off with their online sales up 29% in the fourth quarter.
But Macy's in particular, I mean, comp sales down just 2.1%. That was better than estimated. Also, full year earnings, if you back out gains and charges, on the high end, $315. I mean, is the worst over for Macy's, or is this still a show me story, got to sell yourself story?
I think it still is a show me story. Remember, they're also going against pretty weak comparisons. Expectations were really low after they reported a sort of weak holiday period. So I think this is a case of them surprising sort of to low expectations. So going forward, it still remains to be seen how viable department stores in general are.
And Ellen, you just made the point that it depends on which part of the market you're looking at, because these are the moderate income households that typically shop at a Macy's or a Walmart. So how important is that to driving retail sales at this point?
Well, I think we want to look at what's the consumer experience across income groups. Right? And if you look at, the high-end group, they had a couple of years of a really good run in luxury sales because of all that pent-up demand and the stock market rising, and they get happy. And then you've had accelerating wage gains at the low end of the pay scale. So relatively speaking, the low-end consumer is much better off than they were a year ago or 2 years ago. It's really that middle-income segment that has not yet fully experienced a recovery, but that's where we've seen confidence jump post-election.
But briefly, we hear about this border adjustment tax. The border adjustment tax is probably the pathway to get overall income tax reduction. Could they make it up on the top line, essentially, because more people will be buying things because they have more money in their pocket?
Well, that would certainly be the argument if you're a proponent of border adjustability. I think that Walmart would probably argue against that, and some economists would argue against that and say, well, we're going to have to raise prices if you hit us with border adjustability, and passing that on to the consumer is extremely difficult. Consumers are very price intolerant these days.
Which, Matt, leads us to margins. Sort of what were they for Macy's and Walmart? What's going to be vulnerable if we get that BAT?
They were good. I mean, they showed some resilience. The border adjustment tax, I mean, I've been writing about this last week. It's this huge fight that's happening right now. You have Walmart, the Coke industry is all against it, and net exporters for it. So retailers, it's the last thing they need right now is some sort of big change to taxes that could really affect their business just when they're sort of still struggling to kind of come out of this malaise we've seen for the past 5 or 6 months.
Right.